everybody. Welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I am Dez.
And I'm Fox.
And we are recording somewhere a little bit different today. We had to, just out of necessity. So if the audio in here is a little bit more echoey, or if you hear some rain in the background, we apologize for that.
The rain gets real loud in our offices.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty cool, though, because...
Oh, yeah. When you're not recording audio, it sounds cool.
Yeah. You ever go to rainymood.com?
A lot.
I love rain. You guys out there, go to rainymood.com.
Rainy Mood. We're sponsored by Rainy Mood. No, we're not. We're not sponsored by Rainy Mood.
Nope, we are not.
But
we just
Rainy
like
Mood.
Rainy
Okay,
Mood.
go to Rainy Mood and then find. Go to YouTube and go to Iron and Wine album. Our endless numbered days. Mm-hmm. And then you'll
feel like a hipster.
You will be at peace.
Yes. You really will
all of your earthly troubles will be gone.
Now, that's if you want to calm down. If you want to cry a little bit, you can go to rainymood.com and then go find a song by Nightwish called Slow Love Slow. And it's just kind of like this smoky jazz song.
Sure.
And then, it'll be real moody for you. It'll be good, yeah. Anyway, hey, we should probably talk about
let's just talk about music
type
to listen
of
to
things.
while it's raining.
So, Fox, are you done playing Odyssey yet?
Okay. Real quick, very slight spoiler.
Okay.
Slight. I'm not going to tell details or anything. But once you get 500 moons, you unlock what I assume is the last world, the last level you can go to in the game.
Right.
And that level is crotch-punchingly difficult.
Crotch-punchingly difficult.
It is. I mean, I have probably spent a total of 5 to 6 hours trying to beat it. And I can very reliably get to the same spot over and over again. But every time, I fail miserably.
Is this it?
I don't know. I haven't seen that part.
Oh.
So way to go.
What?
Apparently there's something that looks like that in the level.
I just showed Fox a tweet of Marisha Ray. It just says... F this shit.
Yeah,
and it's just the eye just keeps going.
Yeah,
and it's
that I have not seen that, so it definitely is.
That's awesome.
That's the only thing that I've seen everything else in the game. So yeah, but I'm giving it a break because I've also got plenty recorded and don't need to do it right now. Don't have to infuriate myself over it. But no, I have not finished that game yet.
Man, I fell behind on my recording of Telltale Batman because I finished episode 1. And it's so good.
Right.
This one's really, really good.
Sure.
And I went to start episode 2, and then I realized I hadn't downloaded it yet.
Oh.
And my internet is the actual literal worst.
Yep.
And so it took me 2 days to download it, and then I was able to record the beginning of episode 2 last night, and it is so, so good.
Right. Something else I did this week was go see Justice League.
Yeah.
It came out.
And you have, such a good review compared to what I thought you were going to give. This is, to me, it's a 5 out of 5 star review from Kyle Fox on the Kyle Fox expectation scale.
No, okay.
This is on the Kyle Fox expectation scale.
Okay, so if Batman vs. Superman was, a nuclear bomb level of, bad, this was... the Moab, the mother of all bombs, remember that they dropped a few months ago? That was the largest non-nuclear.
Yeah.
It's real bad. But could be worse, as they've demonstrated. And my bare minimum expectations were slightly fulfilled. I understood the plot. I understood this is what's happening. This is what we need to do. Here's what we're trying to that, which you would think all movies are like that. Nope, they're not.
Nope,
this one is, though. I understood. Now, the reasoning behind a lot of the stuff I didn't really get, but they did tell me what was happening and why. And I get it. And there were a couple characters out of, the 7 main characters. I liked 2 of them. So, hey, that's a good... Hey, we're working. So, very mediocre job there, WB/DC, but still... very mediocre.
See, but no, mediocre to Kyle Fox is a stellar review of anything that is from the DCEU right now.
It's getting a big... Yeah, because Wonder Woman was really good.
Wonder Woman was very good.
Had its flaws, but I liked it.
Right.
Also, Thor was way better than this, though.
But not better than Wonder Woman.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
No. Because Wonder Woman did a good job of being Wonder Woman herself was what carried that movie for me. Because she was one of the first real heroic heroes. Mm-hmm. I mean, they all save people except for Superman. Which is ironic.
Other than Lois Lane.
Wonder Woman's naivety, though, was the best. Yeah. Where she's just perfect. Like, we go save the day. Like, we go fight. It's what Superman should have been. Oh, that's the bad
guy? Let's go get him.
Yeah, let's
go
fight him.
No, wait, there's like politics and things. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, aren't you supposed to be a hero? Like, you're fighting for the good guys. How dare you let these people, like, you lied to me. You did. Yeah. And Superman should be similar, but at least one of them is like that. Yeah. And then she does have some, like, you know, like what's the scales torn from her eyes, like things are revealed to her and she changes, but she's still the hero and I like it.
Yeah, it was very cool.
She was one of the better parts. There's a scene in the beginning of Justice League with her saving people and it's one of the more fun parts. It's bright, you know what, she's just there to save people.
I gotta say, as a DC fan, I am disappointed in the way the DCEU is panning out.
Yeah.
But I also understand that there's only so much that I can get upset about, that they have like this established world that they want to build. And it may not be what I want, but it is what the direction they want to go. So,
I mean, I agree. We can only complain to a certain level.
Right.
We don't have... I mean, it's literally just us watching movies.
Right.
So... I don't have any stake in the game aside from $5 that I paid to see the movie.
Right.
But still, it feels like they're taking these beloved, like, characters, these things that have been around for, Superman's been around for almost, 80 years now. Like, a very long time. And they're kind of just flushing them down the toilet. And so I feel like there's part of me that is justified in saying, no, you're doing this wrong. How dare you? That kind of thing.
So, just in movies in general, though, there's only so much that we can do.
Yeah.
I think it's different with games, though.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of anger that we can have with games.
That's true.
That is a little bit different than we
justified.
Justified than we can have with movies.
Yeah.
In fact, today, we are going to be talking about... This is my transition, Fox.
Yeah, it's pretty solid one.
Yeah, I don't think you noticed that I was getting there.
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
But this time I decided not to call it out. I didn't think you would. I
want
you were
them
just
to be able to know.
Going into it.
I was going to keep going, but I want them to be able to know for sure.
It's going to be in the title of the video.
That's a really good point. I did not think about that one.
And on the thumbnail.
There would be words that say exactly what we're talking about. Today, pretty much the title, I don't know if this will be the actual title, but what we're getting at is... What are gamers allowed to be mad at?
Yeah.
Because, yes, on one side, gaming is a unique medium of interaction, and therefore we have to be a part of it.
Yes.
But on the other side, it's still a business. There's still, there are different corporations. We don't have to buy it. Like anything else, like Fox and I say a lot, we can choose what to buy and what not to buy.
Boycott
we can talk with our money. Yeah, it really does. So here's what it really comes down to, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I don't know where I fall on this. This is why I've been excited to talk about this, because I don't know where I fall on this.
It's why I'm not super excited, because I don't have this is where we can, and I'm not able to draw that line.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was talking to my wife about this last night, and for once, she was actually pretty, interested
Hey, look, it's our friend Josh.
Hey, yeah.
We're definitely not recording a podcast right now.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Josh.
Okay, hang on, wait.
Tidings and great joy.
Okay, oh, you are the worst. You are the worst. Okay, Josh is actually gone now.
Are we recording again?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so what I was about to... Whenever I say so, I just think queso. And I'm like, cheese.
Queso.
So the question I was about to ask Fox, and this is where I am genuinely, torn on this. I asked my wife this question last night, and she's like, wow, that's actually a really good question. Like, my wife, who was not interested in games, wanted to have a conversation about this. But it was right before bed.
She's a woman, so we don't allow them in our conversations.
Games. On one side, are they just a business, and therefore we have no right to complain? We can just take our business elsewhere. I.e., if we like a restaurant, and that restaurant starts making food we don't like, we go eat somewhere else.
Sure.
if we see a director and that director starts making movies we don't like, we don't watch his movies anymore.
Zack Snyder.
Yes, exactly. You know, J.J. Abrams.
Except I still pay to watch his movies, so big ol' hypocrite over here.
You know, any business, if you don't like what they start doing, you just take your business elsewhere.
Right.
So at that point, gamers shouldn't complain. Just take your business elsewhere. Stop feeling like you're entitled to the video game and they need to change the video game so that you can get it. Or, on the other side, video games as a unique medium are inherently interactive.
Yeah.
A video game is not complete without somebody to play it, without somebody to interact with it. Therefore, is there sort of a social construct in video games, a social contract in video games that says this video game needs to be appealing to a certain amount of gamers for it to be purposeful? And therefore, when you make a video game, it should be changed to appeal to its audience.
Man, part of my brain, I'm with you right here. Part of my brain is like, no, don't kowtow to the audience. Like, make what you want to make. Like, you know, it's called artistic integrity, but also, because the other part of my brain is saying, like, yeah, like, you are creating something for people to play.
Right.
And what you said before about games not being complete unless somebody is playing them, that you could also kind of, like, if nobody's watching a movie, then is it really doing what it's supposed to do because it's inherently for people to see?
Right.
I mean, at the very basic level, if I put in a DVD and play it, it will play through. Like, that movie plays, like, this is my product. My game has to have somebody interacting with it to play it. And so you put in The Last of Us, and then it just, like, the moment you have control, it just basically becomes a still image.
Right.
And the actual, like, purpose behind you making it never comes through at all.
Except for Metal Gear games, in which it would go for about 2 hours.
You'd have about 2 hours.
And then there'd be a still image.
Then there'd be a, like, 20-minute stealth sequence, and then another hour and a half, and then the game's over.
Yeah.
No, hey, Metal Gear is awesome. But also ridiculous. So, yeah, I think it's a both and.
Okay, how do we have both?
There is part of us that has to accept that what is being made is not made specifically for us.
Okay.
Every single opinion is different. Every single one, in slight ways. We might have very largely similar opinions to Battlefront 2. That's what this whole conversation is kind of being started from. Sorry, I'm going to be coughing a bunch here. Because of all of EA's business decisions in the game.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. Let's give a quick premise as to why we're talking about this. Because Battlefront 2 had loot boxes, and I have been of the opinion that, look, if you're going to have loot boxes, that's fine, as long as there's an in-game way to be able to purchase. Right. And EA had that. There was an in-game way to be able to do this. But you had to play for, like, it would be like a decade straight or something that.
Something like 2,100 hours or something. Was it more?
Yeah, it was like 4,500 hours. Like double that. it was a lot of gameplay that you needed to go through to be able to unlock everything.
Everything in the game. Or
like $1,000.
Thousands of dollars you could pay. And part
both
of me
are unreasonable.
Both of them are unreasonable. It's like you can't really combine the two. It's like, only play 2,000 hours and then pay an extra 750. You're like, no, man,
I don't want to do
unreasonable.
That. Yes. So at that point, can we just say, well then fine, I won't buy your game? Or do we, as fans of Star Wars Battlefront, we as people who have played that before, and we as people like them as a company who knows, without these people, our game does not serve its purpose, do we have a right to go to them and say, we have an interaction, we have a social contract that says, I make your game fulfill its purpose, and therefore you need to make the game in a way...
Without me, your games are pointless.
Right.
Yes.
So therefore, you need to make your game in a way change it, because here's another thing that so a movie releases and it's bad.
You can put out an extended cut or an edit, but
you can't go and change it.
You can't change what you originally put out.
But with a video game, EA is already reneged.
Yeah.
Reneged on some of it.
Yeah,
which
they stopped that you can't make in-game purchases right now.
And then, of course, the Reddit right now is saying that, oh, this is because it's just the beta. It's saying, like, oh, they're changing it for the beta, so you will pre-order it, and then when the game releases, they will just bring it back to the way
game
it is.
is released. It is currently on show. I saw it at Target the other day.
Oh, really?
Right. But what they're saying is it's essentially a beta.
Right.
Because they can do that now. That's a thing that, like, being able to change the game after its release basically turns it into a beta until we get it to the point we want it to be in.
Right.
Which is weird. It's like it's a fundamental shift in how the video game industry works.
And so do we as gamers have the right to be able to stand up and say, look, what you're doing right now is not even something we don't enjoy, it's underhanded.
Yes. That's where I feel like, because whether or not we enjoy the game really to me is neither here nor there. As far as like the actual game itself, not the business side of it. Like if I just don't like playing a game, you know, oh, maybe I'm out my money that I paid for it, but that's always the risk of any piece of art. That is not inherent. That is not specific to video games. I didn't like that movie. Well, that's always the risk. You might not enjoy it. So sorry. Try it, better luck next time. I feel like the main argument for us being able to say, yes, I can complain about this and it be justified is saying you are morally doing something incorrect. You are expecting of us something that you should not expect and doing it in a way that is greedy. You are seeing us not as consumers of art and also willing to pay for that art, but as people who are willing to pay for something. Let's get something out there so they'll pay for us. Like you're seeing us as an ATM rather than an audience for your piece of art. So then you would say that Mass Effect 3 should not have happened the way it did, where it was an ending that people did not like, and therefore they released a DLC in which it changed, like you could get an alternate ending. Yeah, it was a free DLC. Right, and they weren't expecting you to pay more for the change. People said, we don't like your ending. We want a happy ending with birthday cakes and confetti. Like, we don't like your ending. And so you think that a video game company at that point should not, because that's not a moral issue. Oh, what I'm saying is that they should do what they want. If they feel like we owe our audience something better, like okay. Very personal opinion on Mass Effect 3. I loved it. Right. Almost as good as 2, I think. Mm-hmm. The ending was, kind of lame and didn't really make sense in a game where you've been putting hundreds of hours into this series to see the culmination of everything, and it's just like pick A, B, or C. Right. You're like, oh, that's real disappointing. Real disappointing and baffling. But that's just the ending that they gave you. And so, like, we didn't like it, but I don't feel in any way that they were obligated to change things because we didn't like it. Because it was a purely artistic thing. They weren't saying, oh, you didn't like it? Okay, well, if you pay us an extra $5, here's a better ending. Oh, gosh. Yes. You see how underhanded that would be? Like, and EA would do that. Yeah. Put out some bullcrap. That gives us some time to make something better, then they can give us extra money for it. That's essentially what's happening right here. I don't think it needed a bet. I thought Mass Effect 3 was really good and didn't really expect anything else. I never even went back and played the new ending. I played through the game and was a little weirded out by the end, but not like, oh, my time was wasted. I think that is fundamentally different than EA saying, you want to play our game you want to play the whole game? Okay, give us thousands of dollars. Right. You already have to pay for the game. If I pay for $60 for a game, I should get a satisfying experience, at least lengthwise, or, I should be given, something that seems like it was worth my $60. And what they're saying is, if you want to play everything that's available, if you want to play the full game and not just what you get at the start, then you have to give us $60 for the game and pay us for more of the game that's already there. So let's just be precise here. I wanted to look it up. It's 4,528 hours or $2,100.
So again, let's say you split the middle. That's $2,269 hours or $1,050.
Oh, well, that's reasonable.
Fast math, mofo. Yeah.
Oh, man. That is baffling.
That is insane. Okay, but why can't we then? Why isn't it that we as gamers just say, then I'm not going to buy your game?
Oh, 100% we should do that.
We should do that, but
that should be the start. That should always be the start.
But so many more people are saying, you know, like there's a Penny Arcade comic that says, you know, first panel, Gabe and Tycho, boycott Battlefront 2. And then the second panel is Gabe saying like, wait, is boycott where we don't buy it? And then the final panel is just like, what if we just pre-order it? You know, and that's what people are doing right now. Yeah. They're shaking their fist and they're saying, rah, 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 but they still feel like they're not saying, we're not going to buy your game. They're saying, I'm going to buy your game and therefore you have to change it. Do we have that right to be able to say that? I'm going to buy your game and so you have to change it.
No, maybe. Here's I think
we can't maybe
I'll give you
on
a firm
the nerdy
answer
gritty Fox.
of possible. No, here's what I think is something not specific about Battlefront, but kind of licensed material.
Okay.
One company owns the ability to be able to make Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Right.
This isn't a game, and this isn't going to really happen, but it's not a game where somebody else is going to be like, well, that wasn't very good. Let's make a better one, you know?
Right.
So they're...
Because they can make a better game, but they can't make it Darth Vader. They can make a game where Spaceman has a laser sword and you get space dark robot powers with a laser sword with space powers right off the bat, but he's not Darth Vader.
Right.
So it's just not going to be the same.
So there is also like, hey, we want to play a game in which we get to be our favorite characters from Star Wars. You guys are the only ones who are able to do that, so make it good. And yeah, at the end of the day, I just want to say, okay, I'm going to give you a firm answer. In my opinion, we can complain, and some of those complaints can be justified based on the nefarious, like, business practices of the company. But at the end of the day, just don't buy it and don't play it. Get over it. Get over your inability to play Battlefront 2 and play one of the other 100 million games that are coming out recently that are doing very similar gameplay in a in a better way.
Right. I'm going to mildly disagree with you.
Okay.
To majorly, not majorly, but mild to moderately disagree with you.
Okay.
I think that should be the final result. That should be the ultimatum. If you don't, I will not. But the more that I think about it, the more that I'm really getting into this idea that gaming in and of itself is a social contract. Like, it is saying, you were creating this experience for me. In fact, Fox, when I first brought up this topic, you came up with the best, like, metaphor for it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a difference between a chef making delicious food and putting it in front of you, and you eat it and you say, that was great, here is money dollars. And then a chef makes bad food and puts it in front of you, and then you say, that was gross, I don't want to eat here ever again.
Yeah.
Compared to a chef gives you choice ingredients and instructions on how to cook and says, make this delicious meal. And you make this delicious meal and you say, here's money dollars. And then the chef gives you bad ingredients and says, make this delicious meal. And you say, wait, these are bad ingredients. I still want to cook. I'm still hungry. I still want the experience of chefing, of cooking. I want the experience of eating a good meal, but you have given me poor ingredients. That, at that point, introduces a social contract. You have told the chef, I want the experience of cooking. I want this. And he says, I will provide you with it. Here are poor ingredients. And he has failed his part of the social contract. Now, at that point, you could just go to a different chef. You could just go somewhere else. But that experience with that chef is what you wanted.
Okay.
And now it's not available to you anymore.
Yeah, okay, but it's like we're going to a chef that's wearing a McDonald's uniform.
Uh-oh.
Like, you you know what you're getting into.
That's true.
You know
EA.
Battlefront 2 is being made by EA.
Yeah.
And EA historically has been very underhanded and not player-centric in how they... We have to also say that it is the distributor, like it is not the artists. It's not the coders making Battlefront 2 that's the problem. Like,
DICE.
They probably, I would assume, made a good game. I think
the game, I'm told the game is great.
Yeah.
And DICE, yes, they code it, and so they actually made this happen, but DICE are under the influence of EA. Like,
yes.
EA, as the publisher, is telling them what they have to do.
Right.
So.
And, or this game, or you lose your job. Cause this game is, we're putting our eggs in this
or we'll
basket.
pay other people who are chomping at the bit to be able to get a job. 100
million people who are, video game designers.
Right.
So, but still, it's like if I see No Man's Sky 2, like a trailer for it come out, I should be very wary of what that is. I should say, the last, ingredients you gave me when I was eating that meal or making a meal, they were not very good. You promised me something good and then you gave me something not very good. And so, okay, definitely don't pre-order. I'm not going to give you my money in advance 9 months, for 9 months later. Wait till it comes out. See if it's good. Wait till the people who, review games say what about it. Or they tell you, we've known that they're going to do these. There are red flags that we can pay attention to. Sometimes you can't. No Man's Sky had a lot of promises, it looked really cool, and it really didn't live up to what the experience was, but we had no real experience with this game company. They had only made a very different game before that, and it was a new kind of game in a way. So that one, I pre-ordered that out of respect for, hey, this is something new. They're trying something different. And I was very disappointed by the game. But it happens. And then if I the next day go and say, oh, No Man's Sky 2, here's my money, take my money, please. No, I've been burned before. What's the phrase? Shame, fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
We should be able to see, it's EA, red flag off the start.
Yep.
Battlefront 1 that they made, not great. Really disappointing. In the history of their games, they've tried to get you to pay more money for lots of stuff.
Right.
As part of their business model. And now it's like saying, oh, wait, Battlefront 2 is like that also, just to a worse extent? How could I have ever known? I demand it be changed because I already spent my money on it. Why'd you do that?
Right.
Why did you spend your money on it when you knew, literally knew what you were getting into? You didn't just have a bad feeling. The numbers came out saying you would have to play 4,500 hours to do this.
Ugh.
And then you put in the game and said, wait a minute, I have to play 4,500 hours to get... Oh, that's disappointing.
So you have a really good point in there that I like, and then you have another thing in there that I want to kind of renege with. Not a stupid point, but one that I want to come back on. So the good point, and what I think is a really good solution to this, is wait.
Yeah.
Wait,
yes,
and then see, because release numbers are very important to publishers. If your release weekend kind of flops, even if it remains pretty constant throughout, they want that release weekend numbers. They want that big thing. And so if they
same
see...
with movies.
Yeah, movies are the exact same way.
Quick aside. Justice League, and here's the weird word, only made $96 million in its opening weekend.
Wow.
Only. Which, 10 years ago, that is a huge success. Now it's like, oh, we didn't make $600 million in one weekend. We got a flop on our hands. It only costs, I think, $110 million to make. It was only.
It's going to make a lot of money.
It's going to make much more than, but that opening weekend, it's now considered a flop.
And but this is an exact, so
it's the exact same
what
thing.
I'm talking about here. Yeah. So let's say you plan on buying Battlefront 2. You want that experience.
Yes.
Wait a week. Wait 2 weeks to buy it. Even if no matter what anybody says, you're going to buy it. If you wait that week or 2 weeks and they see that opening weekend or that opening week numbers were really moderate to low.
Yeah.
That is a message to them. You still get your game. You had to wait. I know that's really tough on gamers. We do the midnight releases and then we play all day type of stuff. That's tough on gamers to wait that long, but you can make a big statement by doing that. by just making that opening week and opening weekend really low numbers. But you made a, saying like No Man's Sky 1 was really bad. No Man's Sky... It
wasn't really bad. It was not what was promised.
Not what was promised. And if No Man's Sky 2 came out, what if when Last of Us 2 released, the story is there, but to be able to complete it, you have to pay money, or to be able to unlock the true ending, or whatever it is. Like, you, Fox, you want that story. I know you do.
I'm interested in it, yes.
And you, Fox, enjoyed the game. I know you did. Are you saying that you would be comfortable just saying, I'm just not going to buy it then?
Probably.
Really?
Yeah. That there's a... You were saying social contract.
Right.
There was a social contract, or should be an understanding between the producer and the audience. $60 is how much a game costs right now.
Right.
I want to play the full game for $60, and if it's multiplayer, sure, you can put in DLC, or if there's like paid DLC, or if there's like it's a big game like Witcher 3, gladly pay $15 for essentially an expansion that's half the size of the first game.
Right.
That's perfectly worth it. But if you are not... Here's what it is. If I bought Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2, up until if you give me 95% of Last of Us 2, and then ask me to pay another $10 for that last 5%, I did not buy Last of Us 2. I bought most of it, but paid with a full price that a game costs right now.
Right.
So it's like, for like Battlefront 2, you are looking to buy a certain experience, but you go into it knowing this is what it is. If you bought it, you actively chose to buy something that you did not want.
So you're telling me that as somebody who is invested in a story that you personally took part of, again, gaming, a unique medium,
right?
So let's say it's The Witcher 4 or Last of Us 2 or... This is a
I really hope there will be a
situation.
Witcher 4. I really hope so. Please, CD Projekt Red.
So, Witcher 4, Last of Us 2, whatever else, something that was very good. Because remember, for the PlayStation 2, there was Battlefront and Battlefront 2, and they were fantastic games.
That's the worst part. They've already done this way better than they already have 15, 20 years ago.
Good. Gosh, I played the crap out of Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
But...
Let's do that again.
I want to start telling stories about being a sniper in Battlefront 2, but we don't have time for that right now. But you're telling me that if there is a story, if something that you are invested in, that you have personally involved yourself in, not just watched, taken part of, you are invested in Geralt, you are invested in Ellie, you are invested in these people.
Sure.
You don't feel some sort of right? Some sort of necessity within yourself to be able to continue these stories?
I mean, on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is not important.
Of course
obviously,
not.
We have to get past that.
Yes.
It is, the word necessary should never be used.
Yes,
I do
that's a
not
good point.
need to even play Last of Us 2 to continue existing.
Right.
This is fulfilling some other type of need, like an artistic, to be able to connect with something that that I feel for.
Let me just stick with you don't feel some sort of right then.
I would be very upset, and if for some reason Naughty Dog chose to do this,
they never
that would be shocking.
They're cool people.
But I think personally I'd be okay with just saying, well, sorry guys, never again.
Wow.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Part of me might be like, oh no, I really need to see the end.
See, to me, I think there's an amount that I would pay for things, and I would say because you yourself, you were like, I spent $300 on the Switch, and then $60 on
Breath of the Wild,
and Mario Odyssey, and $480 to play those two games.
$460,
worth
$420, bro.
Yeah,
played. Oh yeah, I played $420 to play two of those games. And it was worth it, and not only was it worth it, they are the best games of the year. In the top 5 for sure. I don't know. But
for you. For me. And that's awesome. That's great. And to me, I feel like there's an amount. So Battlefront 2 might be $100 game for some people, $150 game for some people. Is it a $2,160 game?
Probably for nobody.
No, but zero people.
Except for John Boyega.
Who is on this... It's an IGN article, by the way.
Yeah, he'll get it for free.
Our 4,526 hours and $2,100 is IGN's reference. But nobody's going to have that. But I think that there's some value that you can put higher than the actual dollar amount that's on there. And if a game says, hey, this is a $60 game, and there's going to be some $10 DLC, and it's a game that I love.
Sure.
I'd probably go out there and do that.
Right, yeah. All of this, we can't say, this is how it is, because it's different for everybody.
Right.
People felt really betrayed when No Man's Sky came out. They promised things that literally were not in the game.
At all.
At all. That, 100% you can complain about.
Yes.
You were told what you were buying, and what you were buying did not match that. You are owed something from them. Because they promised you something wasn't in there. Right. It's like when Mad Max Fury Road came out, which was the fourth Mad Max movie. Fourth one. But it's still been 20 years since the third one came out, or a long time, so the audience doesn't really know the Mad Max shtick, where it's most of the time not really about Max himself. He's more of a character. And so when Mad Max Fury Road comes out, and it's mostly about Furiosa, and Max is just kind of your gateway into the story and just kind of the vessel for seeing what's happening around him. People were upset about that. They were like, I wanted a Mad Max movie, not Furiosa movie. And you're like, first of all, no, get over it. Mad Max, obviously it's not the same. You're not interacting with it. Right. But also, if you had known about Mad Max, which you were essentially told, it's not always about Mad Max. It's about what's around him. He's in it, of course, and he's a character, but it's not really about that. So, I think what the main thing you have the right to complain about is if you are told you are getting something and then don't get it. If you are told Battlefront 2 has a full and complete story with all these characters for the $60 price, and then they say, oh wait, here's the game, but in order to play as most of the characters you have to pay. Then you have an absolute right to complain because they straight up lied to you.
Right.
I don't even care about gameplay time. If it takes 4,500 hours to unlock them, that's fine. It's unreasonable. You shouldn't be expected to play that. But to me,
they haven't lied to you.
They have not lied to you. They're in the game and you can get to them. So all of this, I feel as though I understand why you're complaining, but also get over it, man. You knew what you were getting into. You got the game. You brought it on yourself.
I, on the other hand, again, it's a moderate disagreement. At the end of the day, you are correct. I'm going to say that at the very end of the day, the most powerful thing we have is purchasing power.
As always.
As always. And if you don't like it, don't buy the game.
Yeah.
But I also understand, especially somebody who is most invested in single player games with a narrative to them. And so if there's a continuation of that narrative, I would feel some sort of investment and a privilege to that game may not be the right phrase to use, but something that means that I, as somebody who invested myself in this narrative, should be able to have some sort of means to get to the next part of it, which I do, of course. But if you are limiting my access to it, I think I have some sort of, again, right to be able to say, wait a second, hold on. Particularly when it's something like a video game, which is interactive. Like, it's not just a book that you experience the narrative that is there. Like, you become Joel. I became Senua, my game of the year for 2017. Like, I became Senua, and her story's over. Don't make any more stories about Senua. Don't you dare.
How
her story is done. That's the point. Anyway.
Senua 2, now with loot boxes.
I would kill people. Probably just you, Fox. No,
that's fair.
Yeah. But
it would be my fault.
So in this particular instance, especially because in any other medium, a movie can't go back and change their movie. Yes. A book can't go back and change the book. And a video game can go back and change it. They can go back and do something different. I think that... Here's what I'll say. I think you should still not buy it.
Yeah.
Don't buy it.
Always. That's
Right.
something you
Don't
can't
buy it, or at very, very, very least, wait to buy it.
wait a few weeks.
Wait a couple
if
weeks.
If it's really
to buy
that
it.
bad, it's going to go on sale real quick.
Yep.
You can get
save some money. Buy
this
it
Friday.
used.
I mean, Black
Don't
Friday.
buy it used.
Black Friday is different, but you can get like Assassin's Creed Origins for $35.
Yeah.
Almost half price 3 weeks after it came out. That's crazy.
So exercise that purchasing power, but also say something. Step up and say something.
100%.
I think you have the right to be able to say, look, your game is not a purposeful game without me as a player. Change it.
Yeah.
What you're doing is underhanded and morally wrong. Change it and let us continue our relationship. Let us continue our social contract.
I mean, it works. EA themselves, although, like, you know, there's speculation as to whether or not it actually worked, they themselves said, we heard you, we're changing it.
Right.
They turned off, whether or not it holds, whatever.
I think the best example of this is before the Xbox One released. The Xbox One, when it was coming out, had the worst DRM ever. You couldn't borrow a game from somebody. All indie games had to be first party published. Like, it was just the worst money-grabbing garbage from any sort of console maker. And everybody stepped up and said, well, I'm not going to buy an Xbox One. Yep. Even people, like literally people who had been Xbox 360 players their whole lives, they felt betrayed, they felt hurt, they were invested in this, but they said, looks like I'm getting a PS4.
Right.
Made it real easy for me to make my choice. Thanks, Microsoft.
Man,
then,
do you remember that? I think it was E3 or one of those where, like, Microsoft went first and talked about their new console and gave PlayStation, even if it was exactly the same, they were like, oh, nope, let's take this stuff out, and then they were just like, it's our console. You can play whatever games you want on it.
Yeah!
Like, literally all they had to say was, you can play games on it without...
This is our first game. It's generic PlayStation game. Not sure you want to play it? You can borrow it first.
Yeah, they had the easiest job in the world to just to be the greatest company ever.
Oh, man.
In the eyes of gamers.
Right. And so Microsoft came back, and not only the lady who was overheading all this stuff, they fired her. They're like, well, that was a terrible idea, and you're gone now. But, which, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was going to say, which I don't think that was a little bit extreme, but still. But they changed it. They said, we heard you guys, we're going to change this.
Yes.
You can do that.
Also, quick thing, don't pirate the game.
Yes, don't pirate.
That is a lot of people. Well, I don't know about a lot. I don't know what percentages, but that's the response that some people have. Well, this game is trash, so I'm not going to pay for it, but I still want to play it, so I'm going to steal it. You understand that hurts everything more than
worse.
Like, that's why we have so much DRM problems. That's why games cost more these days.
That's why they want to nickel and dime you.
That's why they want to nickel and dime you, because other people who aren't willing to pay anything but will still steal it are stealing it. They don't pay for the product that was created. So you pirating the game is doing the opposite. If in the future you want games to be better, if you're just going to pirate games all the time, that you're a different audience, you're a monster. Stop.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who says, I don't want to pay for this game, but I want to play it, so I'm going to steal it, you're making the industry worse and making and just. That's going to be your response to every game in the future if that's what you continue. Like, well, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
That is an entirely, so on one side, when I was saying, we kind of have a right to step up, you do not have a right to
You don't have a legal right.
Right. You are not entitled to
This is not in the
game.
Constitution.
Again, it's a social contract, not social slavery.
Yes.
You don't deserve that game. You have to put something into it. So yeah, please don't do that.
Right.
Do not pirate games. It is part of the reason, a large part of the reason that they want to nickel and dime you.
Buy it used before you pirate it.
Yes, buy it used. That's a great way. I still don't buy it used, but buy it used before you pirate it.
Or just don't play it.
Yeah.
There are 100 billion games. Play something else.
Well, guys, let us know what you think about what we as gamers have a right to be angry about.
Yeah.
Are you more on Fox's side, where you say, you know what, man, just don't buy it. We have no right to complain. We have no right to say anything. Just exercise your purchasing power. Or are you more on my side, where you would say, you know what, it is kind of a social contract. A game needs a player to really serve its purpose, and therefore a player can step up and demand some things from the developer and the publisher.
Yeah, obviously both of us kind of feel similar to each other.
Right.
Just in different weights, but it's a weird issue. So tell us what you think.
Yeah, we want to know what you guys have to think about this. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you guys are the best. Again, if this is something that really just piqued your curiosity and you were really interested, hey, share it. See who else wants to hear about this. We will see you guys next time. Remember, saved games. Hang on. Saved games save lives.
You did it. Woo! See you later, guys.